first speaker, Dr. Louay Safi.
It's a pleasure to be with you and talking about important issues that are close to our hearts. I have put down a few notes to talk about the issue of integrating traditional Islamic knowledge with modern sciences, beginning by talking about why I think we need to integrate traditional Islamic knowledge with modern sciences. Now, one reason, perhaps the most important reasons of all, is that modern education has gone through a process of fragmentation. Modern education, rooted in European Enlightenment, fragmented knowledge into different specializations. To be more precise, to different spheres of knowledge. Of course, that's by itself is not a problem. The problem is that these spheres have nothing to unite them. The core, the uniting core of knowledge has been taken out. And that's a big problem. And this core is a moral core. It's a core about meaning and about responsibility of humans. Unfortunately, this core is no more there. Today we have different disciplines. We have economics, politics, education, sociology, psychology, biology, physics, etc. But none of them really are linked to the core of knowledge, which is the moral ethical core. Indeed, ethics has been reduced to one discipline. So if you care about ethics, then go and study maybe philosophy and ethics. Even philosophy can be studied today without even any reference to ethics, and can be studied by doubting that there is any ethical core of humanity. Now, for us, not only as human beings, but as Muslims who believe in the human responsibility and the purposeful, the intentionality of life, and the need to bring values to every sphere of life as a way to evaluate action within those spheres. I think, many of us, probably many of you would share with me that this is a very problematic. Now, on the top of that, modern sciences and modern knowledge, which always try to link itself with the Greek and posit that Greeks and Greek knowledge is the foundation of modern knowledge, has indeed has been gradually since the Enlightenment has been moving really closer to the Greek worldview, which is based on social hierarchy. So for the Greeks, humans have no equal dignity. People are not equal. This is at the heart of the Greek philosophy and Greek ethics. You find it even among the most important Greek philosophers, Socrates, Plato, and Aristotle. These are the philosophers who Al-Ghazali calls the, to refer to them as ilahiyin, meaning they are among the Greeks who focused on and made the belief in God the center of philosophy. In fact, it's the first philosophy, as it was called. But then this very Greek philosophy and knowledge is based on a worldview that sees people as unequal, not unequal in merit, but unequal in dignity. I don't have time to really elaborate on this point. If you want me, I can do that later in the Q&A, but I have written a lot about this issue. So this is negative. Now, the funny thing is that modern Enlightenment, which has been dependent deeply on Islamic knowledge, has taken Islam out of the picture to its own detriment, because indeed, the whole notion of science was born and was developed and grew up within the Islamic civilization. Not only science as a way to find truth, that is, find the meaning, understanding reality through observation, experimentation, and measurement and systematic study of nature, but also science as a human science, as some science of the spirit, science that is rooted in the transcendental values that have been affirmed and required by all revelations. But then Islamic revelation was the one that brought that knowledge from its textual form and made it gave it a rational understanding. In other words, the values that modern society initially privileged, like equality and freedom and justice, compassion, all those values are really rooted in the revealed text. The notion of equality, as I said, you cannot find it at all outside the Islamic tradition as a rational tradition in approaching the study of human beings, society, and nature. Now, what that does to knowledge is that eventually, when you look at the very specializations, look at economics, for example. In economics, there is no moral values in dealing with economics. The emphasis only on profit maximization. That's really the fundamental principle. But then there is no reference at all. There is no attempt to bring into the equation ethical values, like human dignity. In fact, the difference between the Greek approach to ethics and the Islamic or the monotheistic in general is the emphasis on dignity. So the Greek ethics is ethics of honor, of virtue, or of manliness. In fact, virtua in Latin means, manliness. So really the emphasis there is on courage, on wisdom as a prudence, on justice, but unequal justice, and on temperament or temperance, which means like discipline that is expected from the nobles, from the powerful. But in Islamic tradition, in monotheistic tradition, the emphasis in the equality of people, equal dignity. This is highlighted mainly within the rational Islamic tradition, that all people are born equal. It emphasizes justice for all, not justice for those who look like us or behave like us. So those aspects has been taken from economics, from politics, from sociology. There is no serious attempt to bring those values to be part of the judgment or the decision-making that stem out of those traditions. I think for us in our educational systems, and that's what TexAM is trying to do, wants to marry sciences, not only social sciences, but even the STEM track of sciences into the ethical core, which for us as Muslims can be found within the Islamic learning and Islamic tradition. This is basically what I wanted to share with you, and I think there's a lot to be said on this topic, and I thank Dr. Chaudhary and Dr. Safi for inviting me to participate in this debate.
Exactly what the core thing Dr. Louay has focused is, which is the core for the TexAM also, that the origin should be the Islam and the Quran for the knowledge, inshallah. And that lens we will use to study every humanity knowledge also, okay? STEM and social sciences. Our next speaker is Dr. Professor Dr. Moazzam Ali Khan Khattak.
This is my talk agenda that I will discuss today. So coming toward education, education actually means that now the teacher is responsible to transmit not only knowledge, but skill, critical thinking, creativity, and character, which means that teacher is responsible to build a complete personality of his or her student. And if we have a look to the evolution of education, we are standing at education 4.0, that is the fourth industrial revolution, and we are moving toward futuristic, that is 5.0, which is more holistic, and we need our student to learn lifelong learning. If we have a look to the history of education in ancient, the technology was stone, and then you have to write on those stone. Later on, the paper come in, and then onward, the most famous one, which is still in the top universities like MIT and Stanford, the chalkboard is used as a content delivery media. Here is the evolution. If we have a look to the classroom technology, with the internet intervention of internet and all these smart technologies, the classroom of today's is much different from the older classroom. Uh, this is the education 4.0. If we have a look, that is much more toward smart tech driven, AI driven, and we transmute the education system to make the student capable to live in the society with some critical knowledge, as well as to have this culture of innovation or improvement every day. These days we are facing different type of students, and that's why the slide theme is changing student and changing market. We actually need the lifelong learning, and we have these students which are digital native. They have these digital devices and equipment from the day one in their hands, and then onward the fast pace of advancement of these technologies, specifically in artificial intelligence and cyber security, that we are facing. These are the changing nature of learning. That's why the teacher should be equipped to know about all these 4 points and also inculcate them in the student as well. I'll also give the detail of these points as well. So these are the skills of the new word that we require, that every student should be capable. Now, if we have a look to the ground realities, there's a lot of skill gaps. The global shortage of digital skills and AI talent, and that's why if we have a look, that those nations who understand this gap and tried their best to cover it are leading the world. Either that include United States, that include European countries, or even that include some of the Islamic countries as well. So these are the 10 digital skills which the 4.0 education system demand. And most important thing here is the complex problem solving and critical thinking. And that's why they are mentioned at number one and number two. Then onward, the creativity, then how to be a good team member, as well as how to be a good team leader. And then onward, beside IQ, we have the new thing, which is EQ. The emotional quotient is very important with cognitive abilities of these students. This is the new concept which I learned back in 2010 at United States, where the concept of scientists without border was there, and then the new concept of classroom was initiated in MIT. That classroom without border, you can join our class whenever you want. And in COVID-19, the new concept was that science without border, like in vaccination, we have seen that it was shared across the globe for COVID-19. The changing world have different type of tools, and hundred of tools are developing every day. So therefore every educationist, every student should know that which kind of tool can be more efficient, more reliable, and more impactful in his area. We have different tools for computing, for programming, for physics, for chemistry, and so on. And you can see here that we have research tools, we have generative art tools, and we have the productivity tools. All these modern tools actually help us to enhance the efficiency, the effectiveness, and the agility of the system as well. So moving toward the most important aspect of academia, that is the code design, this new digital era need the attention of students to design the course for online system and come out of the conventional system, which was the traditional paperwork, chalk, and all those things. So the online system actually demands that you should have all the things available. You should have the recorded video. You should have all the exams and assignment available, and it should be available 24/7. That whenever a student want to learn, want to understand, want to appear in exam, so it should be there. The main concept was adopted here in mock courses, which are free online courses, and they are affordable and free of cost, available by the top universities and by the top professor. Here you can see the mock courses available from Massachusetts Institute, MIT, Harvard, Berkeley, and therefore I am looking forward to have such kind of venture at TexAM as well, that we develop mock courses over there, and that should be available to all students whenever they want to learn. Here is the concept of mock market. If we have a look, it is 143 billion in 2032, and we have a look at how much we can contribute, or we can take our share out of those for 143 billion dollars. The new concept is artificial intelligence. It's growing day by day, and that's why 88 billion market share is expected by this AI and AI application, which will be used in education specifically. So therefore, AI enabled system is coming everywhere, and these systems are aiding effectiveness, increase the proficiency and performance of the system, and also of the students, and also help them to get very updated knowledge on just few clicks. The gig economy is the new concept, where the internet-based economy, where the people serve other people, even they are not physically present over there. They are taking different projects, and based on that, they are helping those customers and contributing to the economy of the system. But that's only possible once you learn those tools, once you have the basic idea, and once you are capable to perform or to develop all those things or applications which are required over there. The negative thing are we should be careful about the responsible AI concepts. The AI should be used in a limit. AI should be used in an ethical ways, and similarly, we have to keep in mind the religious beliefs of someone, even the traditional belief, the cultural belief, or the personal belief of any person. And similarly, this should not be used to damage or harm any one of it. So therefore, we need to define ethics of AI in the academic system as well, that it should not be used for any negative activities like plagiarism or any other like this. If we have a look to the top countries in education, they have invested a lot and they have adopted these smart technologies. And the United States is on the top still over there, as they are investing in these technologies. The best thing about artificial intelligence is that the Nobel Prizes has been awarded to those scientists in chemistry who used AI for their solutions. And similarly, in the physics, the Nobel Prize is awarded to those scientists who use artificial intelligence technique. But the other side, which is the dark side of this technology, that use of extensive technology at early level of education also disturb the natural nurturing of brain of our kids. Therefore, it has been banned till grade 5 in Sweden. And that's the article which has been published last year, that Sweden was the first one who adopted these technology, but due to the negative impact on the brain nurturing, they have stopped this technology. So therefore, we need to use this technology with care. The take home is technology is not the future of education, but it's the present.
Next speaker is Dr. Touseef Azid.
After following this title, I thought I have to take a small example from the blue economy. Generally, it is known as ocean economy or blue economy when we are dealing with the sea oceans. So we are saying it as in our own terminology, blue economy or ocean economy. Or always, whenever we are starting with any subject of Islamic economics and Islamic finance, we have some basic assumptions. And what is the basic assumption? The first one, that Allah is creator. Because when we start with the Islamic knowledge, so we have to believe on it. This is our firm belief that Allah is creator. And the second is human being, man is accountable to him. The second thing is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has provided the guidance and solid basis for the further development in the knowledge. So when we have integration between Islamic or the religious knowledge, and here religious means in this presentation is Islamic knowledge. When we have religious or the Islamic knowledge, and on the basis of that, we want to see that what is the integration between Islamic knowledge and science and technology. So this is again our basic assumption that Allah has provided the guidance. And then on the basis of that guidance, we are developing the knowledge. And the third one is the objective of all the actions to improve the knowledge and other necessity, capacity building frameworks to achieve the ambitious goals of this life and also life hereafter. When we are saying ambitious goals of this life and life hereafter, it means falah. Falah is a universal set. It's not when we are saying the welfare is not the part of falah, is not 100% explaining the concept of falah. Falah means we have a welfare in this world and life hereafter. This is the integration of, when we are saying the integration of Islamic knowledge and the science and technology, but simultaneously we are saying integration of this world and life hereafter. First of all, I want to discuss as a student of social sciences, what does mean integration? This is a form of collaboration with the one concept to the other concept. So to create a new scientific concept. For example, if we have one thing which is from the religion, and then we have from the science and technology, and when we have the integration, then it means we are creating a new scientific concept. So whenever I am teaching to my students, always I have my emphasis on that. We are not teaching the Islamic studies. We are teaching you economics, and that economics which is compatible with the science and technology. And then we have to create a new scientific concept. And when we are saying that this is with the religion, so religion is teaching us moral and ethical values. When religion is teaching us moral and ethical values, so it means there will be more benefits and less negative impacts if there is integration between science and technology and religious values. So the integration is intended to connect and integrate religious knowledge with science and technology rather than integrating or mixing those three sciences. So it is not a mixing, it is integrating, as I told you that this world and the life hereafter is an integration with each other. Similarly, the subjects are. So there is a horizontal as well as a vertical integration. So if we are thinking about the Islamic knowledge, so this is a science that is believed to be able to minimize the negative impact of the development of science and technology. So whenever we have a Islamic or any religions, but specifically when we have Islamic knowledge, it means we are minimizing the negative impacts of the development of science and technology, because religion is teaching us moral and ethical values. So on the basis of moral and ethical values, if this science and technology, according to any religion, but specifically the Islamic knowledge, it is not science and technology is not a neutral one. It has its moral and scientific values, and on the basis of that, we will develop our own knowledge. So religious educational material plus rationality and reality in daily life. So this is the basic concept which we have when we have a integration. There is one terminology which we are using in our social sciences and as well as in the natural sciences, but because I'm a student of social sciences, so generally my emphasis on if there is a integration between social sciences and science and technology. So religious sciences by attaching verses to the finding of science and technology, because our knowledge is based on Quran and Sunnah. So the above phenomenon is also known as a phytology phenomena. So on the basis of phytology phenomena that we have Quran, we have verses. On the basis of we are developing our science, the models of science and technology. For this presentation, because the time is very short, for me, maybe for Dr. Meena is not very short, but for me it is a short. So I'm just taking one verse from Quran, and this verse is from Surah Rum and verse number 41. So the Quran, when is explaining the corruption, Quran is explaining in the Arabic word is fasad. So, and this fasad is, whenever there is a fasad in this earth, that is the consequences of human actions. In Surah Rum, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, corruption has appeared throughout the land and sea by reason of what the hands of people have earned. So it means these are the people. So these are the people. Those are humans. Those are creating through their actions, through their whatever their behavior, they are creating the facade in the earth. So these words indicate the human deed can lead to evil or mischief in both land and sea. Note that the ocean themselves are inherently free from facade. So just my emphasis will be today on the blue economy, not on the earth, not on the land, but just on the sea. So what I am saying, actually you will see that nowadays blue economy is very much important, because in the land we have limited resources, and due to these limited resources, most of the experts, most of the planners, most of the scholars, they are developing their knowledge for earning the money and using the resources of the oceans. But simultaneously, we have a maritime transport. If our knowledge is based on morals and ethical values which are given by the religion, then our models will be different. But if these are neutral, then our models will be different. Generally, if you will see that, and specifically during the COVID-19, it has been proved that maritime transport is the backbone of international trade and the global economy. You can see that how much it is important. Over 80% of the volume of international trade in goods is carried by sea, and the percentage is even higher for most developing countries. So in the most developing countries, this is 80%, and maybe in most developing countries, it is more than 80%. So the emergence of ecology scarcity of land resources is forcing the world economies to explode and exploit maritime resources. And you see that the global marine vessel market size was valued at US dollar 152.38 billion in 2023. The market is projected to grow from US dollar 160.56 billion in 2024. And it is more than that now. It has been proved. And with the projections in 2032, the US dollar 247.96, a compound annual growth rate 5.56% during the forecast period. Asia Pacific dominated the marine vessel market with a market share of 52.46% in 2023. But you can see that when Quran says these are the actions of human being, those are creating the facade or corruption in the sea.
And last minute.
Yes?
This is the last minute.
Oh. So I need 2 minutes more.
Okay.
So marine biology discovered that great whales You can see this is the natural blessing that great whales capture a significant amount of carbon dioxide in their bodies from the atmosphere. And how much this? This is 33 tons of CO2 on average. Whereas a tree, meanwhile, absorbs only up to 48 pounds of CO2 a year. And you can see this maritime transport, what they are doing. They are hitting these whales, and on the basis of that, whales are going to be dying. And instead of absorbing this 33 tons of CO2, carbon dioxide, they are not able to do that, and ultimately the loss of the atmosphere. And the second point is there's a phytoplankton. There are some very small plant, minute plants, and their food is from the waste of whale, and they are absorbing more than 50% of the carbon dioxide, and they are releasing more than 50% of the atmosphere oxygen. So how we see that? Why Quran is saying this is a corruption and the facade, whereas if we are build the model on these words, and then we will not be inshallah, we will see that there will be no facade in the seas, in the oceans, inshallah.
Okay, our next speaker is Dr. Gharib Gharibi.
Assalamu alaikum. Thank you, Dr. Chaudhary. It's a great pleasure for me to be here today. And it will be really hard for me to top the esteemed speakers that talked before me. But hopefully I will share some insights about AI from the industry perspective and where things are standing today and where we are heading. The reality is that we are living and seeing AI explosion in real time. If we have not used and adopted AI in our daily work and life, we are most likely behind already. And just to put it in perspective, the capabilities and abilities of AI systems are evolving and doubling almost every, sorry?
Somebody's mic.
Can I cannot mute it. I think it's from Professor Touseef, Azid. Yes.
Dr. Touseef, your mic is on.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Thank you.
So what we are seeing today is that the abilities of AI systems are doubling every 6 months. So literally what was impossible 6 months ago, today we can do it using AI. And if you look at this chart, this shows you the amount of work that AI systems can do in comparison to humans. This dotted line right here shows exponential growth, but if you look at the actual values, they are super exponential. So it is improving at a speed that we cannot actually comprehend or understand or know where it is going. So it is frightening, but what is also lagging behind the most, it's unfortunately the educational sector. And we need to move and accelerate the adoption and adoption of AI in this sector, the educational sector, both from the administrative, from the teachers, and from the students' perspective. So what does that mean? Today, for educators, this means that we have tools and not just AI models. We are today living in an era of AI agentic systems. An AI agent is not an AI model. It is actually a system that can do and automate multi-step workflows. And because these systems are available at our fingerprints and their cost is actually dropping to near zero in real time, that's another very important fact about AI, is that what it used to cost $100 last year, today costs roughly $2. I know it's mind-blowing, but this is the truth and this is the reality. And this translates to the fact that the cost of generating artificial intelligence is actually approximately approaching virtually nothing, zero. So we have these tools, how can we use it? So for the educators, this means that today using AI agentic systems, we can easily build personalized learning. We can do it in a safe, trustworthy way. Using an AI agent, you can actually build as an educator, you can build a bank of questions and you can bring in your knowledge base, the books and the source materials, and then you can add it with something called prompting that tells the AI agents exactly what to do. You can give the AI agent the list of all the students you have with all their historical grades, all of their historical exams, and some survey about the student. And then you can ask the AI agent to create educational materials personalized to each student in seconds and for less than $10. This also allows us to adapt these changes and adapt to the behaviors of the students in real time, because literally AI now is integrated in everything. So some of the companies we are working with, for example, they are integrating the AI models with the students' emails and their phones, so they can see when the students are happy, when the students are sad or mad, when the students are going through difficulties. If somebody has any internal challenges, we can detect that in real time, update the materials, update the teacher, update the school, and do something to elevate the student educational process. Most importantly, what AI agents are able to do today is to help with the administrative work. We don't really need committees today to sit and figure out when to put the exam times and how to build the schedule and how can we review ABIT accreditation. We can build AI agents to automate the majority of these processes, and there's actually systems in place that can help do that very efficiently and very accurately. From my perspective, we see that some of the educational approaches or pedagogies in some domains, in some courses, they still depend on having students memorize facts. And the reality is that we can actually access and get answers about facts supported by citations instantly and for the price of the electricity that is powering our phones. As a matter of fact, there's AI assistants that could be embedded today in our AirPods, those headphones that I'm wearing. They can listen to the conversation, and every time somebody asks me a question, it will go to the internet, search for an answer, and come back. So I'll have the answer to your question and give you a fact probably in milliseconds after you are done with asking the question. So teaching a student to memorize the dates of World War I or World War II or a specific war, I don't really think how important that is. Like, I'll give you an example from myself. I don't remember when Ghazwat al-Yarmouk happened, for example, even though the teachers taught it to us and we had to memorize the dates. But I remember facts about Ghazwat Uhud. I remember the importance of following Rasul sallallahu alayhi wasallam instructions, the importance of following the leader's instructions. And when the soldiers did not follow these instructions, something bad happened as a consequence. So this is the kind of way we should adapt AI to start helping us with the educational process, to teach us and to teach the students how to start formulating questions so that we understand things around us. How can we evaluate the facts that we see and we read online instead of just memorizing those facts? How can we actually reason in an ethical way and giving our religious background towards the answers and everything that AI is telling us? Today, it's really from an engineering perspective, at a coding perspective, for example, it is really not that important to learn how to write code. It is more important to know what kind of problem I can solve with coding and why should I solve that problem, and who's benefiting from that problem. Writing code today is commoditized. Like I can write right now in natural language a question to any AI agent, and it can generate a running web application for me for less than $20. This same application will have cost over $100,000 and 6 months of consultation work like 2 years ago. Today, you can do that for less than $20. So writing code today, for example, is becoming not as important as understanding what problems to solve. And this is the kind of things that we need to start thinking in adopting in the education process. For the students, what does that mean for us going to the future? And this is also important for the educators, because this is very, very important for the students to learn and focus on to prepare themselves for the future. It's also important for the educators to help the students focus on these things. The educators today shouldn't be just information transportation layer, taking it from the books and then presenting it to the students. Teachers today should be more of a mentors that are helping us really navigate the difficulties of life. The educator's main goal should give students confidence about themselves. They should be able to talk with them at a very, very deep technical level, philosophical questions, religious questions, teaching them about the life and the meaning of it, more than actually telling them how to write an if-else statement if they are a computer science student. So as a students, what we should learn today to adapt with AI. First, most important thing is something called prompting. And you must likely have heard that term before. Prompt engineering means learning how to talk to AI, how to ask it questions. Because AI is not deterministic systems, this means that every time you ask it a question, it will give you a slightly different answer. So based on how good your question is and how good you formalized your question, and you know exactly how to ask the AI to get the information you need from it, you need to learn prompting. So we need to learn it, both for educators and for students. Second thing we really need to focus on is how to collaborate with AI. We shouldn't see it as a nemesis to us anymore. AI is your personal assistant, and it's going to be a trustworthy personal assistant in the future. So treat it as such. For an educator, you can see an AI agent as your TA, teaching assistant. For a student, you can see it as your research partner, as your tutor. So use it that way. For students, however, do not use it as an answer machine. Do not ask it to write that specific essay for you. Do not ask it to write that code program for you. Instead, ask it about, why is this program important? What are the different ways I can solve this problem by not writing code? Is there other solutions outside today that actually help me solve this problem? These are the kind of things that we need to start thinking about. Yes, doctor.
Yeah, you have 2 minutes.
Yes, I'm almost done. And the last thing is the critical thinking. Because AI learned from all the information that exists today on the internet, all of that information comes from different backgrounds, from different cultures, from different books and different philosophers. We should actually learn how to take a question and how to take its answer, think about it, and analyze it given our context, background, ethics, and what is good morals to us. That being said, I just really want to say this one last question. AI is here, it's here to stay, and we need to start adopting it. It's moving at a very, very, very high speed. It's doubling. In some research areas, it's saying the abilities of AI is actually doubling every 90 days, not 6 months. And this means that the gap that we have today between education and industry is not only deepening, but it's only widening. So we need to focus on curriculum creation and evaluating it and how it evolves. We need to educate ourselves as educators on how to use the technology, what it is useful for and what is not useful for. We need to empower the students to use AI and know how to use it, not prevent them from using it.